Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have long till the NBA season starts. So what we're doing today is we're going to talk about some of our guys and who we think you should be targeting in your drafts for the upcoming season. Stay tuned for this. Hello and welcome back to Ball Logic. I am the Horse, and joining me is a man that if the camera was any closer to his face, it would be headbutting him on his nose. It'd be Flanders. How you doing, mate?
Mate, I'm good. I'm keen to talk about the guys that we love. We just love them, and you're lucky you got away with that comment, mate. I should really give you a berating for it, but we'll keep that off air. The guys don't need to know how much you deserve one, mate. But I'm keen to talk about the guys that we're all infatuated with, and there's a few guys here, mate.
Absolutely, there is. But before we get into it, like, subscribe, and bell. We call it being the triple banger. But also, if you're listening to us on audio, please, that 5-star review, it helps us get into the ears of those that love a bit of banter with their NBA, Supercoach, fantasy, whatever it might be, knowledge. So today, as Flanders just said, we're going to bring up 3 players that we each think that you either should be targeting or are targeting. We're going to have a bit of a discussion about them as they are our guys, or my guys, as this episode is called, and discuss why we think that we're high on them, why we think they could be difference makers in your league, and why we think you should be targeting them, especially in certain builds. So before we continue on, mate, I'm going to let you kick off, and we're going to start with the big man who represent Charlotte Hornets, but he's not there anymore. He's at the Phoenix Suns. It's Mark Williams, mate. So let's go through some numbers here, mate, before you get into him. But his ADP is currently 88. So towards the back end of the draft, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 2.5 assists, almost 2 stocks per game, really good from the field, 60%, only 1.6 turnovers. If you've got him projected early 5th, why is he getting drafted at 88? Is it or average of 88? Is it because of that 44 games played?
It's got to be health. That's the only reason I can put behind this. He's like, other than the big man 3-point problem, that's probably about the only deficiency that I really see in his game. He just doesn't hit a 3. That's his biggest problem. He's great from the field. He's great from a boards perspective. He gets points. It's just, I think him staying healthy is his biggest problem. It's just getting minutes into him. He competed a lot last year with Nick Richards. Also, Diabate was out there at Charlotte as well. They were sort of running all 3 of them for a bit there, and sort of they're only getting 25 minutes a game each if they were lucky, sort of moving a few pieces. And obviously they shipped Nick Richards off just for Mark to come back and join him again. Just arch nemesis that can't seem to run away from each other. Yeah. I'm a big Mark Will guy. I think the upside is there. And I think if you're taking him early 5th, I don't see this as a bad pick. If you're thinking he's going to get this guy like this is going to get through to 88, if he stays healthy, mate, he could be an easy top 50 guy.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. And for him to put up top 60 numbers, he would only need to play your 60 to 65 games. But as stated earlier, the most games he's played in a year is 44. So he's really going to need to step that up. Was he really injured last year? Did Charlotte just sit him because he was playing as well as what he was? I'm not so sure, but a fresh start in Phoenix. I hope that we see a lot more of Mark Williams on the court. And if that is the case, I feel like that ADP of 88, he will blow that out of the water.
Yeah, I'm a big Mark Will guy. He's done a lot of things in limited minutes recently. But I think given the right minutes here, there's a lot of upside here for him here.
For sure. With one of my guys, mate, that I'm going to discuss, it is the point guard from the Indiana Pacers. It is Andrew Nembhard. So let's talk Mr. Nembhard. He's played off ball a little bit with Tyrese Halliburton in the side. ADP currently of 94. But you look at his numbers and they're not great. 10 points a game, 3.3 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1.4 stocks at 45% from the field and 1.7 turnovers. I hold hope that he's going to have a similar type of season fantasy-wise to what Mark Williams, or we hope Mark Williams is going to have. He is going to be the man running the ball at Indiana. So We've spoken about Pascal Siakam in earlier episodes here at Ball Logic, where he's been the main man at Toronto before, and his numbers weren't overly good. You lean into your Nembhards, who historically have played well, averaged, I believe, 17 points per game without Halliburton in the side. His assists go up, his rebound numbers go up. So his counting stats all go up, and the percentages stay the same. Really, really like that. But at the same time, he's going to get more time on the court as well. And he's the man of this offense. He's the one that's going to be orchestrating the offense. And Indiana do like to play a pretty high octane style offense as well, Flanders.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I like the idea of Nembhard as a pick. I think I'm not as high on him as you are, but I do think there's a smoky here. And again, opportunity is something that a lot of these my guys are something that they've been starved of. So given the right opportunity and the right openings is the biggest thing. And Nembhard has walked into probably the golden situation there. They've moved a lot of pieces out, even Miles Turner, not positional related, but it's going to be usage related. So you've got usage opening up there between Halliburton and Turner. It's got to go somewhere, and I think he's going to be the guy that's probably going to benefit from it.
For sure. Really, really looking forward to seeing how he progresses this year. 65 games played last year. He was still playing 29 minutes a game last year. So for those that are looking at those stats, are like, well, he's not really going to get many more minutes. And you're probably right. He might get 1 or 2 minutes extra per night, but the fact that he's going to have the ball in his hands, he's going to be the one orchestrating the offense. He's the one that's going to need to create for the Indiana Pacers for them to be relevant. Massive upside here. 6th rounder. Yeah, I can see him getting into the 60s, early 70s when we're talking projections by the end of the year. So if you're grabbing him in the 80s, even his ADP is 94. If you're getting him in the 80s and you get that 70s to 60s value back, really, really like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, doesn't need to blow the world apart to really exceed that. I'd be happy to take him there for sure, mate.
The next one that we're going to talk about that you're pretty high on is Trey Murphy from the New Orleans Pelicans.
Huge Trey guy. Trey he's an elite player. I don't understand how he's so underrated, if we're being honest here. This guy on a team that could well have tanked last year. They would have sort of had every right to have tanked. But they struggled with Zion last year. He finished 27th last year, and he's only going to get better. He's a young guy that's making his way in the NBA, and I think he's a breakout potential. So I don't understand how his ADP is 57 when it's when he was 27th last year. I don't understand how people think he's going to slide 30 spots. His numbers without Zion were still good. He was still a 20-point guy. More assists, slightly down on boards, but other than that, it was not like Zion's the big impact to here. Free throw percentage is amazing at 88%. Field goal percentage at 45. It's all right in a punt field goal percentage build as well. Stocks 1.8, assists 3.5, boards 5.1 on 21.2 points on only 1.9 turnovers. Like it's quite a nice sort of guy to have everywhere. The only one stat he punishes you in is field goal percentage.
You're really high on him, aren't you?
I'm big on him, mate. I've seen in a few of our mocks, he's gone in the 4th, and I think, you're still getting him there well before his ADP. A few of us have got him, like every one of us in Ball Logic have him higher than his ADP of 57. I am by far the highest on him, but I would happily, I've taken him in the 4th, and I'd probably take him in late 3rd as well.
Yep. Do you think the inclusion of Jordan Poole hurts his stock?
Not really. Like they got out CJ McCollum. Like CJ was, shooting that rock just as much last year. I think CJ for Poole is as like for like as you can really get there.
Yeah.
Like they're probably the most similar two point guards for each other that you could replace one another with. I think it's plug and play.
Love it. Love it. New Orleans in for a big season this year. My second player that we're going to discuss tonight is, if you know who I am and you know how I talk about this bloke, it's barely a surprise that I'm including this guy in a My Guys episode, and it's Bounce Back Barnesy, Scottie Barnes from the Toronto Raptors. Been a massive, massive fan of this kid ever since he's been in the NBA. a rookie at Toronto, put up some really good numbers then. And we see here his ADP is 28.8, 19.3 points, 7.7 rebounds, 5.8 assists, 2.4 stocks on just under 45 from the field, 2.8 turnovers per game. For those that are listening on audio, we've got up some little thumbnails so you can read along if you'd like to come watch it on YouTube. For me, I see this as you see 28 and you're like, yeah, that's probably pretty good for Barnesy. Barnesy's a lot more defensive and likes to get his shots around the rim where possible. He has shown that he can stretch the floor a little bit, but with Barrett in the side and with Ingram coming in and with Quickly healthy, he's not going to get as many touches on the offensive end, but I feel like it's going to enable him to be a little more efficient instead of him having to carry the load. Defensively, he's awesome. In the right build, you partner him up with if you're getting him in, say, the third round and you're partnering him up with Wemby and Mobley or Wemby and Jackson, that's a really, really solid top three that you can lock away your defensive stats there. But 28.8, I can see that coming into second round territory again with the less usage that he's going to get, but the more efficient that he's going to be. Flanders, not last year, the year before, he was ranked 8 in fantasy for quite a lot of the season before he did was it his elbow or his hand? Broke his hand. He was out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, there was an injury of some sort there that hampered him there. He only had the 60 games that year. He had 65 last year. Durability on this guy is great. I've had this discussion quite intensely and heatedly with Melly on a previous show, which feel free to go check that one out there. We had a chat about draft boards and locations, and we did discuss Scottie Barnes, and he fills all the numbers here. Like those numbers that you see there are the great ones. You got nearly 20 points a game, nearly 8 boards, nearly 6 assists, and 2.5 stocks. They're great numbers. The numbers that do get hidden a bit are going to be like the field goal percentages there. The free throw percentage really isn't that great. 1.23s last year. He ticks a counting stats box for me, but he doesn't really excel anywhere. And I don't like taking a guy that's not excelling anywhere, particularly in the first few rounds. I'm way off him compared to this, but I still like the guys at the top end here are so finite number changes to become that better guy and move up rounds. I can see in the right build, and as you said, with a Wemby, a Jaren, a Mobley, something like those three in the first 2 rounds, you get him on the turn. If you're pick 2 and you get the turn, which would put you at 26, yeah, I'd happily take him above his ADP. And again, that you'd be in rights to take him at 22 as well.
Yeah, for sure. 21 he finished up 2 years ago. He did get as high as 8, but he did miss the last 20-odd games of that season. So pretty nice year in 2023, 24 for Barnesy. 25 last year. What did he end up being ranked last year?
59th.
59th. So a little bit of a blowout, but yeah, wheels up.
Yeah.
Scottie Barnes.
He's always been a top 82 guy. Like his worst season was 82. His rookie season
that was his rookie season. Yeah.
No, his rookie season was 72. His season after was 82. So
he'll be much better.
Yeah, he's always been a solid guy. So I don't hate anything there, mate. There's some great takes.
Let's talk about brother Thompson, Ausar.
Yeah,
your man from Detroit.
Yeah, this
Ausar.
Ausar. He has been opportunity starved and criminally underrated here. I love the defensive build with this guy. So we've got an ADP of 100. You put up 10 points, 5 boards, 2.3 assists, 2.4 stocks, 54% field goal percentage, and 1.4 turnovers. I reckon he is a good 6th round picker. I'm really, really high on this guy. Amen, we all realized last year was a great sleeper, and when given the opportunity he got in the latter half of last year, he proved to be a top 3 round guy. I don't think Ausar is going to be a top 3 round guy, but I think he could easily prove himself to be worth a 4th or a 5th round, and you're comfortably going to pick him up in the 6th with an ADP of 100. He's just been minute starved of his He played 59 games last year, and
Mhm.
33 of them were between 20 and 30 minutes. And he did have games where he went over 30 minutes. And I know in other shows we've discussed about him getting a minutes bump. He had 6 games over 30 minutes, and he went 15 points a game. He went at over 3 stocks and 7 boards with 3 assists. Those numbers are great numbers. So I think given the right opportunity to help support around Cade there, I'm a big fan of Ausar.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like
think
it. And he's bouncing back from a DVT as well, which we know can be quite dangerous. Wemby had one and forced him to sit out the year. And yeah, he was sort of slow getting back into it last year. And I don't know what was going on at Detroit. They didn't play him a lot. But yeah, I really like the projected upside that Ausar Thompson brings to Detroit. They've got Cade Cunningham. They've got plenty of shooters there. They've got Jaren inside. He's the defensive stopper, isn't he? He's the one that Detroit can go, all right, you're going to the number one guy, lock him down.
Exactly. And because he's going to be the guy going to the number one guy, because of that, he's going to have to be given the minutes. And that's the biggest thing for him. I think the other part is his punt is pretty easy for anyone that you want to take the punt on. It's free throw percentage and 3-point makes, which again is not dissimilar to his brother. So, you're talking 64% free throw, and you're talking 0.2 3-point makes. Punt them, get them gone, and you're good here. As far as I'm concerned. Mate.
Let's talk
about him.
Yeah, let's talk about someone else that you can probably go a punt 3-pointer build, and someone who's related to Ausar, and it's Amen. His brother. So I am massive, always been massive on this guy. And in every dynasty draft that I'm in, I picked him up either last year or the year before. Really, really like where his career is projecting to go to and the heights that it could potentially get to. 32.2 is ADP at these at the moment. 14.1 points, 8.2 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 2.7 stocks, 55% from the field. He's no good from 3. Turnovers are 2. I've got down here that he was a projected second rounder, and I'm doubling down on that, especially with the news that came out today that Fred VanVleet is out for the year with an ACL. Houston used Amen in a point guard role last year. He's not a pure point, but if this is the case, he's going to play some big minutes. He rebounds the ball well, gets you really nice out-of-position rebounds, can assist the ball as well. We look at the back end of last year for Amen, and there were quite a few games where he's getting over 4, 5, 6 assists. So in his last 10 games, Flanders, 11 assists, 5 assists, 1 assist, then 5, 9, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6. So can share the rock pretty nicely as well. His stocks as well are unbelievable. He gets so many blocks. He's just so athletically gifted. And this is he was a big improver last year, but I'm doubling down on this. He is going to be a massive player for the Houston Rockets this year. And there's basically no one to block his run at 32, 33 minutes a night now. He could play the point. He could play the small forward. We know they've got Durant there. They've got Şengün there. They've got plenty of pieces there to give it a good run, but they need a men up and going, especially on the defensive end, for them to be relevant.
Yeah, for sure. I'm huge on it as well. And I think if you look at us as a consensus, we all are too. I'm just going through our fan tracks mock drafts that we do every Sunday and looked through every one of them. And the lowest he's been drafted was 32nd, and that was in the 20-man. But in every 12-man one, he has gone in the second round. So that is going no later than 24th, and an ADP of 32. And that's a lot of guys of very different, high knowledge here that are taking this guy second. He is not slipping to the third. No one's letting him get to there. And I see that a second round reach for this guy is not really a reach. I think it's pretty fair value.
Yeah, bloody oath. I see Houston being a big improver wins-wise this year as well. Ime Udoka, he's had his first year there. People know what to expect now. They're looking to win and win a lot. So yeah.
I probably wasn't a second rounder on him like everybody else was. I was probably a third round, an early third at that as well on him. But I think seeing the news of Fred going down, I think you'd be hard pushed to see him land in the third. So you've got him if you're thinking you can get him in the third, I'd change your plans.
For sure. Ladies and gentlemen, our 6 my guys that we've gone through today are Scottie Barnes, Andrew Nembhard, Amen Thompson, Mark Williams, Trey Murphy III, and Ausar Thompson. If you'd like to know all this and more with stats-wise, data, projections, all that sort of jazz, jump inside of our Patreon. The link is in the description below. You can go in there. We've got our own little WhatsApp group, so you'll be linked in with that. And we're on tap morning, noon, and night for all your NBA fantasy needs. Flanders, where can the people at home find you, mate?
You can find me on Instagram and on X at SC_Flanders. And where can they find you, mate?
Everywhere. Instagram. I even tried TikTok today.
What?
I know.
Oh, did you do a TikTok dance?
No.
We've heard you singing, and we don't need that either.
No, the Gold Coast theme song. Yeah, you're right. But when we're talking TikTok dances, yeah, I've got 2 left feet, mate. But you can find me on X. You can find me Instagram, Facebook, TikTok now even. I don't know how much I'm going to fucking use it. But anyway, I'm all over the joint. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Ball Logic. Plenty of banter going around. Hit the bell down below so you know when we go live. If you're listening to us on audio, that 5-star review helps us get into the ears of those that love a bit of banter with their NBA knowledge. And we're going to see you again tomorrow. What's in store? You're going to need to wait to find out. We'll catch you then. Peace.
See ya.